Devin, I have to
Jeremy.
admit something.
Oh, goodness. All right.
All the digital creatures
Yes.
and all the Star Wars films,
Yes, wow.
Sebulba's my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take the bait.
I'm coming out guns blazing, man.
Why?
I really think this is the character we needed at this point in the Phantom Menace.
Interesting.
And so bear with me for a minute. One, I believe Sebulba is wonderfully designed. I think the voice is amazing. Obviously, we have the pod race sequence later in the film.
Yeah.
But I actually think of all the scenes, this is a great introduction to the villain antagonist of this section of the film. Obviously, Maul's about to come, but I really appreciated this character. I like its characterization.
Yeah.
I think Sebulba's kind of cool as pod.
Yeah.
Pod racer is awesome.
Yeah.
The voice, design, everything, love it. My favorite is Sebulba, kind of the character we needed at this moment in the
Wow.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Devin, what do you think?
I think you're f***ing crazy.
Okay.
Okay, so first off, I'll back up a little bit. I'm fascinated by your take on that. I think back to when I first saw this film.
Yeah.
And I think I was in such a tailspin at this point in the film
Yeah.
that
It wasn't meeting any expectations
Right.
at this point. Yeah.
Right, and so I'm just
I
like,
hear you. Yeah.
but here's what I agree. Creature design, super original.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have anything else that really has resembled it till that point in time.
No, we didn't.
Voice work exceptional.
Yeah.
I love the fact too that in this particular clip that we just watched, that we're not using basic or English. Right.
Right.
And I think that really kind of brings out some depth of the character of Sebulba. And he's clearly, so here's what it reminds me of, right? As he's sitting with his boys in the outdoor cafe there, he like, it is the incarnation of Bruce Springsteen's glory days. He's sitting there talking about the old times, and he's
Yes.
going to go race some 7-year-old
Yes.
in a freaking pod racer.
It's great, He's just chilling, drinking some blue milk,
Yeah,
hanging out. It's a hilarious kind of moment, and we're getting up to the 40-minute mark. We're about 37, 38 minutes in, and Jar Jar sees this something hanging, some animal hanging.
Yeah.
Apparently, he likes it.
Yeah.
He's going to steal it or eat it or whatever it is that Jar Jar's going to do. Things happen. This creature that Jar Jar wants to eat goes flying into the soup or food of Sebulba.
Yeah.
Sebulba comes over. He's going to rip his head off.
Right.
Anakin comes in, talks him down.
Right.
Right. It's like, we got a big race, remember?
Right.
So it's a staging scene.
Yeah.
Like you have this in your script for a purpose.
Right.
The purpose is to set up a rivalry that's going to happen in about 20 minutes.
Right.
15, 20 minutes.
Right.
And so it is one of the anchors for this act of the film. With all of that said, one of the things that stands out to me, besides how much I like Sebulba and how much I think we need this moment in the film, because you need some sort of like tension, because they need to get stuff to get off the planet, but it's not that tense. So it brings a little bit more tension. One of the things and you brought it up, just talking not in basic, and you start to realize how smart is Anakin. He was just speaking Toydarian.
Yeah.
Whatever
Right.
the language is of the Toydarians. I guess
Yeah.
it's Toydarian. But he's talking to Watto.
Yeah.
He knows Sebulba's language.
Right.
He understands droids.
Right.
Like, Anakin must have been like genius IQ.
Right.
Like multilingual like character. It's
Yeah.
kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Like he's just going around just talking to whoever, moving in and out of languages. So that's one of those like things that you're like, wait a minute. He's
Right.
How old is this kid? 8, 9, 7? I don't know. But
Right.
like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to this sequence where I actually think we need Sebulba in this moment, or the film is going to drag its ass for the next 20 minutes. Boring. I think Sebulba's kind of rescuing it at this moment. Am I crazy to think that?
I don't think so. and again, I don't want to get into playing like
Yeah.
quarterback 20 years after the fact.
Yeah.
And
Who wants to do that?
Who
have
might
a scene-by-scene series on the prequels? Yeah.
Truly. And certainly far be it for me to second guess George Lucas. I think I'm more curious though, would there be other ways to set it up that wasn't necessarily that began with like slapstick? If Jar Jar had accidentally bumped into him as they were crossing paths, right? And so for me, I think it was just, you're taking me out of it, and then you're putting me into it. You're taking me out, and it's just like, okay, the Larry, Shemp, and Moe routine is getting a little stale for me at this point.
Yeah.
And so can we maybe dial that down to 7 or 8?
Yeah.
And still get what you're talking about is the interaction to increase the intensity, set up the rivalry, all that stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense for me in terms of the story. You need Sebulba. He is the pod racer we need.
Yeah.
It sets up some stuff. But I'm curious,
He's the Cole Trickle of Tatooine.
He is. Is he one of you talk about it a little bit, but for you in your mind, when it comes to Star Wars, is Sebulba one of those characters that ranks high for you, or is he just kind of like, oh, pretty cool design, let's move on? Like where does he fit for you?
Are we talking about as far as like creature design?
For all of it, like for Star Wars in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking like Borgullet. I'm talking like, I'm talking everything. Like, where is he at? And you mentioned some of the uniqueness of his design, but I'm just saying for you, Devin, like, is it because of the slapstick entrance that brought Sebulba into the story? Does that diminish him somewhat for you? Or are you able to kind of like, no, I think this design, he ranks up there for me. Like, where does that fit for you?
I think at this point, I can look beyond like the introduction of the character as far as playing off of the tail end of a slapstick part. But I will say that, I think he's up there. I mean, I haven't thought about like actually ranking them. Yeah. I will say he's certainly up there for a non-humanoid character. Like, I love if we go to Rogue One and we look at, is it Billy Two Tubes? Which
Billy Two Tubes.
I love that character design-wise, but I would still kind of classify that as like a humanoid character. So as far as like non-humanoid characters,
digitally created.
I really dig it. Borgullet, interesting, but other than maybe having him over for like investigating potential suitors for my daughter down the road, Borgullet knows all.
He does.
Sorry, baby. I think that he's up there. One of the things that it goes back to one of the reasons I think that is a nice blend of not only character design, but he's kind of salty.
Oh, totally.
And for anybody that's listened or watched us for any length of time, they know that plays close to my heart.
Yes.
And I can appreciate that in the CGI character.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for Sebulba.